Hey guys, so I'm going to show you a couple of tips and tricks that will make grading a short answer question in Google Forms a whole lot easier. So in Google Forms, there are multiple different kinds of question types that you can put in. Some students have to answer multiple choice that they click on one option and that's correct. Some of them you can do a checkbox that there can be more than one correct answer. And then there's also many others, but we're really going to be focusing today on the short answer part of it because a lot of teachers think that having them type in a short or multi-sentence answer then makes grading on your end a lot more difficult because you have to go one by one and read them and then give them their grade individually, and they just think it's a lot harder. It's actually a lot easier than if you were doing it paper version, that you were going each student and having to grade their short answers. And I'm going to show you how it's actually easier and how to go about making it easier for you. All right, so I have two multiple choice questions here. You see it has the little red asterisk. That is because I toggled the required button. If you don't want students to have the option of skipping over a question, make sure you click on this required toggle switch on. That makes it so if a student did not answer one of these required questions, they could not submit their quiz. It would bring their attention back to these questions that they skipped, and they would have to answer it in order to be able to submit their quiz. So you're going to see for a multiple choice question, it's very simple, right? You can just tell Google, hey, I want this question to be the correct one. I want them to get 5 points or however many points you put in if they get that correct. And if they don't get it correct, I want them to lose this amount of points. I want that to be deducted from the total points. So this is just a very abbreviated version of a quiz. This is nothing like what I would give as a whole quiz, but I wanted to just show two different question types. Multiple choice were these first two here. And then this one down here is a short answer. So the short answer is something that students can't just click on their answer, right? They have to type out their response. On paper, this would be the ones that they would have to write out. And sometimes this creates a lot of anxiety for teachers. They think it's going to be a lot harder to grade all of their students, however many students that there are, in Google Forms with short answers. But I actually believe that it is easier to grade them in Google Forms than it would be if you gave a paper version of your quiz and had to go through one by one. So you're going to see that on this one, I did assign it 10 points. I also made this a required question, which you can see if I click off of here, that I did make it a required question. And it is something that you see the option that you can mark all other answers incorrect. So you may be saying, like, what do you mean? What answer are they referring to that all of the other ones would be incorrect? Well, you have the option of adding answer feedback. And what this is basically like your answer key. What would the ideal answer be for instance, this question: why was it dangerous to be a helper or an agent on the Underground Railroad? Well, this is not only just the answer key that I'll see when I'm grading, but it's also going to be what Google Forms spits back at the students when they submit. So obviously they're not going to know if they got it right or wrong right away because you haven't graded it. You're the one who has the ultimate power. But they'll get a little bit of an idea of, oh, all right, that's kind of like what I wrote. So they'll see it, but you're also going to see this as you're grading. So put your most ideal perfect answer here, and I'm going to show you how it's helpful. So why was it dangerous? It was dangerous because helpers or agents could get attacked or arrested. Okay? Obviously, I could have gone a little bit more into it, but you're going to see that the answer feedback is here. Now, I've already gone through, and two of our fake students, right, have taken this quiz. And what you're going to see when you click, so I was in the a question spot here. This is where you edit your quiz. And then in the responses, this is where you can see all of your student responses. So with that, it auto-graded Susie Smith's and Bobby Anderson's first two questions, which we can see the first one, they both got it correct. Awesome. Nice job, Bobby and Susie. And then this one, I see that one of them got it correct and one of them didn't. Okay. And if I wanted to see individual answers, I would be looking over here on the individuals that I could then go into seeing who got it wrong, Bobby or Susie. But this summary place that it brings us first kind of just gives us an overall summary view. You're going to also see down here, you can see the two responses that Bobby and Susie gave us. Now you're like, okay, that's great, but now I need to grade them. How am I going to go about doing this? A lot of people make the mistake by clicking on individual, saying, all right, it's time to go to grade, right? And I'm going to grade each of these individually. Well, I like to, because Google does the hard stuff for me for the multiple choice or checkbox questions, I go by question, which basically means that for the first question, I'll see first question and all of my students' answers. Second question, I see that second question and all of my students' answers. So I know that on the fourth question, because I had one that asked about their name, because I like to have their name on it, even though it collects their email address. I know that question 4 is my short answer one. Okay, let's go down here. Why was it dangerous to be a helper or an agent on the Underground Railroad? It was dangerous because helpers could get seriously hurt. So that's the first response I've got here. And what's really cool is because I put that question feedback in there, underneath each of the responses that my students, when I'm trying to grade them, I have my answer key, my answer feedback that I took the time at the beginning to put in. So, what was the answer again? It was dangerous because helpers or agents could get attacked or arrested. It was dangerous because they could get seriously hurt. So they kind of got the attacked part, but they didn't get the piece about them getting arrested. So over here, you can actually give partial credit. So I can do it by going up, or I could say, all right, I'm giving them 5 points. So they did get it correct, but I want to just give 5 there. All right. Now, it was dangerous to be a helper because they could get hurt. They could also get in trouble with the law. All right. Well, I think that is just entirely correct. So you may be saying, like, why didn't it really? So when you click here, it automatically says they got full credit, but I didn't want to give that person full credit because they did not answer all parts of the question. So you then have the ability to bring it down to the amount of points that you'd like to issue out to them. All right. So under here, it says edits are pending. I'm going to click that I want these things to be saved. All right. So now I have given them all of their, I've graded it, right? Because the first couple of questions were multiple choice, and then the last one was a short answer. And now I can see, let's see, oh, Susie, she got 20 out of 20 points. So she must have been the one that had, all right. Yes, so she had both pieces of it. But now let me go and see. Oh, Bobby, he must have been the one that got partial credit, which does show up here. So he got 10 out of 20 points. So let's see. Okay, yeah, all right. So Bobby had gotten the second one wrong, which was worth 5 points, right? And then he got 5 out of 10, so he ended up getting 10 points deducted. And this is the way that I go about grading. Again, using the question piece when you're going for your short answers. And whenever you take that extra minute at the beginning to add in answer feedback, it's not because Google Forms is going to automatically grade and tell students like it's not correct if they don't have your exact words. It's more of, it gives you two cool things. It allows you to have a little answer key when you're grading, and it also will spit that feedback back to the student right away, because let's be honest, you're not going to, I mean, you may, but I can't. I'm not that good to be able to get it to them very, very quickly. It takes me a day or so, at least, to go through all of my students. So at least you're giving them that instant feedback that they're able to then say, oh, I kind of got some of that. Okay, so I got some points, or I was totally off, or yes, I got all of that. So they get the feedback. You also get your grading made easier because it creates this quick little answer key for you. Again, when you're doing your short answer grading, I highly recommend not clicking on individuals and going question by question for each student, but rather going for one question, going to your short answers and grading all of your students' answers for that one question. And that should make your grading a whole lot easier. I hope that this was helpful.